Beste vriendinnen en vrienden, beste troefziekers, waarheidszoekers, beste lieve leeuwinnen en leeuwen. Ik ben blij dat jullie er zijn en ik ben blij dat jullie luisteren naar dit filmpje. Gino terug van Friends for Truth. Zoals gezegd, vergeet niet na dit filmpje als je akkoord bent een like toe te dienen, nee, een duimpje. Veel abonneren mensen, omdat ik zo wel een live ga met jullie Q&A's. Dus vraag en antwoord zal zeer prettig en zeer interessant worden. Veel delen mensen, veel delen, dat de anderen ook kunnen luisteren naar die informatie. En notificatie aanduiden dat je altijd ingelicht wordt van nieuwe filmpjes. Vandaag gaan we terug luisteren naar Catherine Edwards, die interview doet van Tarot by Janine. En we gaan een aantal zaken beluisteren van hen. We gaan het scherm delen, zoals altijd. Voilà, hier zijn ze. Je herkent ze ondertussen. Nee? Voilà.
Hi Janine, how are you doing?
Really good, Catherine. How are you doing?
I'm good. I've been running around doing all sorts of different things today, and I'm off to my friend Sienna's birthday party after this. So
that's why you're all dressed up.
That's why I'm all dressed up. Well, yeah, they said smart clothes, and I suddenly realised I didn't actually have any, so that was a bit embarrassing. But yes, so happy birthday, Sienna. And we've just been saying you've got a video that's just about to go up, haven't you? Where you've done like a zodiac spread on some of the governments.
Yeah, I decided, it just dawned on me. I love the zodiac spreads. They really do a deep dive into almost the personality of a situation from all these different angles. And I thought, I've never done this before, but I'm going to do one on a government. So I did it on who appears to be governing the US. So what the normies would think, so Mr. B team and gang, what's really, like, what are we really looking at there from all these different angles? Then I did Australia's and Canada's. And it was so revealing that I'm going to probably do another one here.
Interessant inderdaad voor te gaan luisteren, mensen. Ik heb ook beluisterd, die Zodiac. Dat is blijkbaar een hele grote kaartlegging dat Tarot by Janine doet. Om dieper te gaan duiken in bepaalde situaties. Dus heeft dat inderdaad gedaan van een aantal landen in feite. Dus zeker interessant om een keer te gaan beluisteren.
UK. I think Germany, UK, and Italy. So I think we'll just have to do, I know, it will take years to do everybody's, but it's very revealing.
Yeah, oh, I can't wait to get that, and I can't wait for a UK one because, oh my goodness, it's just mad over here, but not as mad as some other places. So today, I mean, so much going on. It's always quite tricky, really, because we don't want to sort of repeat too much, but it's sort of all building up to such a crescendo, isn't it? So my first question is regarding well, I've got three questions tonight on the United Nations. So can we start with, is the United Nations still currently corrupt at its core?
De eerste vraag dat ze stelde dat de United Nations in feite nog altijd puur kabal is in feite en rot tot op het bot. Natuurlijk de mensen die ervoor werken en zo, de militairen, ja, die mensen weten dat ook niet, die doen hun werk in feite. Ik bedoel, het is altijd natuurlijk veel hoger op dat het gebeurt. Wij zijn allemaal uitvoerders, we zijn allemaal slaven altijd van het systeem, maar we doen bovenaf natuurlijk, nooit gewone militairen of zelfs hogere militairen die eraan meehelpen hebben, nee. Maar ik bedoel echt wel heel de top uiteraard. Dus de vraag is dat nog altijd zo rot en kabal zoals vroeger?
So I did look at that recently.
Oh, did you?
And we've got it coming up the same again. It's been taken over and it is now going to be an operative for the people.
Right.
Nurturing.
Dus volgens Janine zou de United Nations in feite nu geïnfiltreerd zijn en overgenomen in feite door de witte krachten, door de goede krachten in feite. Dat is uiteraard volgens Janine. Uiteraard, dat begrijpen we wel. Zou dus in feite niet meer zo negatief zijn zoals het vroeger eigenlijk was.
and for the people, but they had to literally wrestle it out of the dark cat's hand to get it. So they literally had to go to war, right?
Yeah.
There's a silent war going on. Okay, so there's a war, yeah. So it's been, and yeah, it's just not known to the public yet. Well, there's all that nobody's I was talking about.
Yes. Don't worry.
Right below.
It's done. Yeah.
No. Yeah, so it's not known yet, but I think it will be soon.
Great.
Dus ze zegt, het is publiek nog niet geweten dat er blijkbaar veranderingen op de United Nations gebeurd zijn, maar we zullen dat binnenkort ook publiekelijk weten volgens Janine. Ook hoor je soms een keer dat lawaai heeft niets te maken hier bij ons, maar dat is eigenlijk bij Janine blijkbaar onderaan of zo, of onder haar dat ze aan het werken zijn.
Okay, that's
fine. Yeah.
So that's really interesting because we've got a couple of other questions on there. So, as we like to call him in the UK, Matt Wancock, but his real name's Matt Hancock. No one calls him that anymore. Now, he was a disgraced sort of, health secretary who was caught snogging someone.
Nu staat ze vraag over Matt Hancock. Dat is, ik denk dat hij de minister van Gezondheid was in de UK. Ik kan me vergissen hoor, mensen nemen daar niet op, maar ergens toch een belangrijke positie in verband met het C-biowapen, heel de toestand er rond in de UK. En nu heeft hij blijkbaar een andere functie. En nu staat zij de vraag rond die Matt Hancock, die toch belangrijk was in de UK en die nu een andere positie blijkbaar inneemt, hoe dat die nu eigenlijk staat. Waar staat die als persoon?
He shouldn't have during lockdown and so got the big L.
Oh, I remember that.
Ridiculous. I mean, first of all, it's so ridiculous that anyone would snog him. But apart from that, he has now got a new role with the United Nations as a special representative. And apparently, which this frightens the hell out of me, apparently he is going to be focusing on helping Africa's economy recover from COVID, which just seems the weirdest role. And apparently it's an unpaid role as well. So can we ask the cards, what is going on with putting Matt Wancock in there to the UN? And
Matt Hancock, die zo'n zeer slechte reputatie heeft nu in de UK. Ik denk dat ze hem gewoon zouden willen in de put steken daar. Krijgt nu dus een nieuwe rol, een nieuwe positie in de United Nations. Waar dat hij zich vooral gaan moeten bezighouden met blijkbaar het economische aspect rond het C-biowapen en al wat er rond gebeurd is in feite in de United Nations.
Particularly to look at helping Africa. I really don't think Africa want his help.
Can you guys hear that?
Yes.
Can you hear all that noise in the background?
We can, but don't worry, we're excited to see your new bathroom. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, so he's been working for he's been taking over and working for the good guys. So I don't know if that's even really him, or we got an actor, or they're just using his name, or.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a unique situation, so it might not even.
Dus volgens daaruit bij Janine is hij dus die met Hancock ofwel dus waarschijnlijk geforceerd naar de goeie overgestapt, zoals dat er bij velen gebeuren in feite, ofwel is misschien een acteur dat hij er gewoon helemaal niet meer is, maar dat ze hem dus eigenlijk zijn naam gebruiken in feite, maar dat eigenlijk hem zelf niet meer is.
Even be him.
Wow.
So they might even have an actor playing him. Yeah, he's been taken over, and he'll be in the future processed.
Wow. Okay.
Somebody else is they're working for the good now.
Yeah.
So you're going to see down the road. I mean, they're not going to do it overnight. All of a sudden, they're doing good.
Yeah.
They kind of start moving it in that direction.
Okay, fantastic. Because it just seems such a weird role. So yeah. Okay, something else that my friend Susie sent me yesterday, which was again one of the weirdest things. So I thought Ellen Degeneres had been taken off the channel, but she's still got something on there called Ellen Tube, and she's still got, I think it's a weekly show on there. I mean, I never watched that creature, but obviously some people do. Now, on this last week's show, she had Dr. Michael Beckwith on there, who we would assume is a real goodie. So can we ask, what is this situation with Dr. Michael Beckwith being on the Ellen show? Because one, she's not meant to be doing shows anymore. And secondly, why would someone like him be on there?
The real Ellen is facing some kind of justice.
Ja, Ellen Degeneres, dat is blijkbaar iets, ja, ik weet het, ik ken dat ook niet, dat is ergens in de UK, maar goed, ja. Het is interessant omdat dat ook gelijk loopt natuurlijk in andere regio's ook. Het is niet dat we specifiek wel UK bekijken, maar het is altijd goed omdat wat er daar gebeurt, gebeurt ook bij ons, gebeurt in andere streken. Dus die slechte kabal, ja, denk ik, mediapersoon, is in feite volgens daar bij Janine haarzelf niet meer. En vandaar dat eigenlijk het programma veranderd wordt en dat die dokter, die blijkbaar een hele goeie is, daar op dat programma gekomen is.
Whoever that is not her. That's not her. So they got somebody playing Ellen. Interesting. Okay, we've got, I know that all sounds really crazy, but yeah, it's totally different than what you think. So it's all been changed. So the Ellen show, what they present is either CGI, actors playing her, or I don't know how they do it. Wouldn't be that hard to do CGI actually.
Yeah.
For them, right? They got a lot of footage of Ellen, so they could just piece it together. But it looks like we're gonna find out that's all been false. So it's been slowly done. Like she may even be really close to being processed with that kind of work. So yeah, it's not what you think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why she's all of a sudden got a doctor on there that's for the good of people.
Yeah, no, because he's not a medical doctor, is he? He's like a preacher and you know, meant to be incredibly spiritual and has a very good reputation. So I was just very surprised to see him on there. So, okay, the next one is again asking about a particular person. So we know that the whole climate change thing is the next big agenda. It's been going.
Ja, de klimaatverandering, dat ze weer aan het duwen zijn overal. Als je daar durft iets van plaatsen die je niet aanstaat, dan zit je direct, word je direct gecensureerd. Dus een C-biowapen is minder en minder aan het lukken. Of misschien een oog, misschien ja, wel gelukt. Maar nu proberen ze een tweede grote wapen terug naar boven te brengen. Natuurlijk de zogenaamde klimaatverandering. Hey, oei, oei, oei. Mensen zijn toch zo slechte wezens dat ze al die slechte dingen doen. Alhoewel, ja, als je dan kijkt naar foto's, het water staat nog overal even hoog zoals dat was 20 of 30 jaar geleden. Dus het is allemaal dikke BS-mensen in. Maar goed, ze gaan nu waarschijnlijk praten over, ik denk, Greta Thunberg, denk ik, die naar voren gaat komen. Ga luisteren, ik weet het niet meer van buiten.
Going for a long while, and we've got a couple of questions on this. Now, have you heard of David Attenborough? So David Attenborough.
Het gaat over David Attenborough. Dus mensen die graag documentaires, dat zijn mensen die inderdaad hele mooie documentaires rond de natuur en andere zaken gemaakt heeft. In feite. Dus David Attenborough, zo'n beetje een oudere, een oude gentleman zo.
I've heard of, yeah.
He's definitely what we would call one of our British treasures. I mean, he's the type of person that in the UK, anyone who's interested in wildlife, nature, you know, the world at large loves. You know, my nan loved him, children love him. So the appeal spans generations because he does the most amazing wildlife programs. But since he's retired, he's really pushing the climate change agenda. So can we ask the card?
Ze vragen nu waarom gaat David Attenborough die zo'n naam uitgebouwd heeft dat hij nu aan het duwen is rond die klimaatverandering. Wat is er daar aan de hand, vraagt ze?
What is the situation with Sir David Attenborough? And if it's not good, I might actually cry. I've always thought he was lovely.
He looks independent, and he might actually somehow have been. I feel like he doesn't get that. This is weird, but it feels like he thinks climate change is a thing.
Yes, that's what I was hoping.
Dus die David Attenborough blijkbaar gelooft echt in die klimaatverandering. Dus vandaar dat hij dat zit te duwen. Het is blijkbaar een onafhankelijk mens, maar het is dus geen slecht blijkbaar. Maar hij gelooft dus blijkbaar in die pakzalverij van die klimaatverandering. Dus eigenlijk zegt dat ook natuurlijk wel veel over die David Attenborough. Zo gaat er ook een keer moeten mijn gedacht veranderen over hem dan.
Say, brilliant.
He thinks it's real and he's been somehow fooled. Or he hasn't done enough research or something. Because lots of really smart people have been fooled. He's been fooled by it, but slowly he's going to be disappointed in it over the next 6, that could be weeks or months. I feel like that's coming, where he'll step away. But he's not dark cult at least. He literally just thinks it's real. I think a lot of people.
Yeah, everyone's going to be so relieved at that because he really has always seemed absolutely adorable. So I'm really relieved at that. I'm quite happy for him to have been misled. You know, that happens to all of us at different times. So we'll put you right, David. Don't worry.
My husband and I both took the DNA test, and it really just took like 2 minutes. And a couple of weeks later,
He's lovely. Okay, we've had quite a lot of questions in from Italy this week. Now, Italy have apparently it's this Friday the 15th where the passport is going to be compulsory to work both in the public and the private sector. So obviously the deadline's really on them, and I think there's been huge protests which have met with a lot of violence from the police, etc. So the question is from Italy is what is going to happen on Friday, you know, once this comes in? How are people, you know, is there going to be any turnaround for them?
Yeah, things are going to turn around.
Dus nu is de vraag dat ze verschillende vragen kregen niet van Italië, Katrien. Waar dat ze inderdaad de 15e blijkbaar hadden er sanitaire pas in, waar dat dan moet, zeker inentingen en toestanden hier in Italië. En inderdaad, ja, ondertussen, we zijn de 18e vandaag, weet iedereen dat er enorme grote protesten zijn overal in Italië. Dus ze laten zich zeker niet doen in Italië, wat dat fantastisch is. Dus ze gaan nu verder kijken rond hoe dat gaat evolueren daar in Italië in de komende dagen en weken.
There's going to be an incident in the next month that turns everything around. This card describes the incident, but it doesn't want to tell us what it is. So there's something coming.
Er gaat blijkbaar een event gebeuren in Italië die eigenlijk heel die zaak gaat omdraaien.
And it leads to a sudden takeover, possibly by an army of some kind, a military. So there's some kind of action that goes down, that all of a sudden their government.
Doordat die event blijkbaar ziet in de komende maand dat er mogelijk dan de militairen gaan overpakken in Italië.
Gets, I think, taken down, frankly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really interesting. Yeah, there's going to be a whole lot of this going on in the background. Arrests of public figures, call to justice of public figures, people in the public sector. We've been hearing that. I just got an email from somebody who says in Japan, just off some certain area in Japan, there's all of these ships. He actually said 17 of them. Okay, and they're all US military ships.
Dus hij zegt nu bij Janine dat ze een mail kreeg van iemand die haar dus beluistert. Ja, ze heeft honderdduizenden ondertussen viewers die haar volgen. Katrien heeft er ook veel, maar toch bij Janine nog veel meer natuurlijk. Dat ze dus een mail gekregen heeft. Dat is natuurlijk het voordeel als je dus wereldwijd genetwerkt bent, dat je natuurlijk dan mensen hebt die ooggetuigen vanuit Japan blijkbaar, die haar geschreven heeft. Dat er daar blijkbaar 17 militaire schepen van de US liggen in feite.
And apparently the word is that they process 700 people per ship. So they're actually
Dat zijn militaire gevangenisschepen. Ja, het is juist inderdaad. Ik had dat al gehoord van iemand anders. Dus militaire gevangenisschepen. Ja.
working as tribunal ships.
17 blijkbaar.
Processing, and so they're ready to take down governments all over the place. And public sector people that have been involved in the deep state and sold out, because literally there's a whole lot of that all over the world. So this is what this incident could be. talking about is just a takedown, which frankly, I am welcoming if that's the case.
Yeah, we are all welcome.
Get on.
Bring it on. You know, we'll sit there and go and help the people that are wondering what else going on, but we really need to bring it on. And that would tie in with the Ricardo Bossi in Australia saying, you know, guys, you've got till the end of this month, and then after that, there is absolutely no going back.
So if things do go forward.
In Australië is er ook iemand, een zekere Potzi, of ik weet niet hoe dat hij noemt, een ex-militair, een hogere militair blijkbaar, die dus een ultimatum gegeven heeft aan de overheden in feite daarvoor te zeggen, kijk, je hebt nog tot het einde van de maand nu om je over te geven en dan kunnen we misschien nog denken aan bepaalde kleinere of grotere amnestieën. Maar zegt hij, eenmaal dat we dus in november zijn, is er absoluut vanuit het volk geen enkele mogelijkheid niet meer dat je nog amnestie of gelijk wat krijgt, dan gaan we tot het einde.
Forward, I would just say step away and tell everybody to get lost till the end of October. Like they can do whatever they want. Like nobody should put up with that. Like if your work and even your country says that, everybody stop doing what you're doing. It's going to shut the whole country down. That your government's illegitimate, your government's illegal, your government's absolutely a tyrant government. Walk away from everything and let them figure it out.
Exactly. All go off.
They're about to get taken down, and that might sound radical, but so's not being able to go anywhere without showing your papers.
Absolutely.
What's okay about that? That's not okay.
It's not okay at all. I mean, it's just, so fingers crossed, Italy, we're all with you. I think a lot of people are in this situation in different countries all over the world. I think Lithuania's in the same situation and everything. So, keep the strength and let's hope we fill those ships up really quickly. Wouldn't it be lovely is as they were processed and then drop them into the shark infested water? That would just be perfect for me.
Oh my goodness. I think they need to take some videos of their confessions though, because that's going to be necessary for the normies that have no clue what these people have been up to.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is, isn't it?
You got to explain to them what these guys have been doing and how they got their positions.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, on a lighter note, because we all have to laugh at this one. William Shatner, you know, from Star Wars or Star Trek, isn't it?
Ja, William Shatner ik geloof dat die gevolgd. Star Trek, dus blijkbaar die William Shatner. Zou dus nu of zou al weg zijn waarschijnlijk vandaag naar dus in feite, ik weet niet naar waar dat ze zouden gaan in de ruimte. En daar over die William Shatner die ondertussen een dik manneke geworden is, een oud dik manneke, zou in feite, dus dat is die commandant denk ik daar van dat schip daar. Maar goed, daar staan ze nu vragen over.
Never watch any of that stuff, but oldest man to go into space, and the set, I just had a quick look at it, and the set looked exactly the same as the one that when, you know, Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson and everything went up. So what are they trying to do with this? I mean, I'm pretty sure you cards might tell us differently that he didn't actually go, but why? What's the purpose of this? A distraction?
Okay,
waarom doen ze dat als ze die William Shatner met 3 andere zogenaamde astronauten op een foto nemen? Ik heb die foto gezien. Dat ook dat met hetzelfde schip van Bezos en met noemt die andere Pietekoe daar. Ook puur kabal, die zouden in de ruimte gaan. Waarom doen ze dat, vraagt Catherine? Wat is het doel daar eigenlijk achter dat ze dat doen?
Trying to signal, so they're trying to let you, like they're signaling stuff that already goes on the daily. So they're trying to give your awareness. We're trying to catch up. We're trying to quantum leap to knowing that we do travel in outer space a lot more than people realize.
Yeah.
Could be entire colonies on these different planets, like all that stuff's real. So I think they're signaling and they're getting ready to really out that information.
Wow.
And so I think all of these...
Zo blijkbaar volgens dat het bij Janine zijn dat ze eigenlijk het volk, de mensen eigenlijk, willen klaarmaken dat we op een bepaald moment ook met die buitenaardse wezens, de goede uiteraard, contact van hebben. Dat zijn onze broeders en zusters, dat we letterlijk, zoals dat we met elkaar omgaan, met hun gaan omgaan. En dat wordt eigenlijk stelselmatig, omdat we geen schrik zouden hebben met een klein beetje pap in de mond gegeven in feite, dat we daar toch een beetje zouden beginnen geloven en dan aanvaarden en dan zo op die manier dat we dan op een bepaald moment inderdaad kunnen mengelen met elkaar.
Lead-ups are just signals leading up to it. Yeah, they're leading up to something. They're trying to build a foundation so it's more digestible, I guess. So if they already see people doing this and then they hear it, they're going to hear it in chunks. What's really going on?
That really makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's wild.
Normal. Yeah, it really does make sense. So, I mean, the stories are just so ridiculous, aren't they?
Yeah.
Talking about ridiculous stories, I mean, this is just madness. But a bit of light relief. Tom Cruise, did you see the pictures of Tom Cruise? I think it was at a baseball game or something.
Maar Catherine is soms wel een keer over stars en zo. Het is een keer iets anders, het is ook een keer aangenaam. Nu spreekt ze over Tom Cruise.
This weekend. Did you see the pictures? Oh, I have to send them to you. Hysterical.
Yeah.
Well, he's either put on about 6 stone because he looked like a spitting image puppet, like someone had blown up his face, or it's just some poor fat person that looks like Tom Cruise, but they got confused.
Because they did that to Meghan Markle.
Meghan, I never
just
saw
blew her up. They literally blew her up. Like no.
Er zijn dus bepaalde stars eigenlijk belachelijk aan het maken, eigenlijk de whiteheads, dus zoals Meghan Markle, dus wat is daar, getrouwd met een of andere prins daar van de royals, die ook plots een heel dikkertje zo mogelijk, die Meghan was, ja, haar belangrijkste ding was in feite zorgen dat ze er heel goed uitzag. En nu zo Tom Cruise, die ook, ja, zijn lichaam is in feite zijn zo kan zeggen, zijn hot. Allee, maar dus die Tom Cruise zou ze nu gespot geweest zijn, heel dik eigenlijk, ja. Dus ja.
In no universe would that happen to her. She's over 40. That's her biggest, most important thing in the whole world is not to look fat in her whole life. So there's no way, not that she just looks filled out, you know, like if she's fat, then I'm humongous, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? So I'm not shaming anybody. I thought she looked great. Like, she's a gorgeous woman, okay? But that's not her, and I don't know what's going on, and why are they doing that? What weird, she would never want to be seen like that. So to me, it's like a signal that none of this is real.
This is what
you're watching a movie still.
Because even on MSN, they were saying, you know, either this isn't Tom Cruise, or he's had some really bad plastic surgery, or it's just some poor guy that happens to look like Tom Cruise that everyone's seen. So again, can we just ask the cards, what is that all about, that controversy?
Okay, this is interesting. Tom Cruise is under lock and key and hiding with the white hats got him. And he's being
Dus Tom Cruise zou in gevangenis zitten van de witte krachten dus. Hij is gevangen genomen volgens daarop bij Janine. En is being processed, wil zeggen, ja, wordt in feite juridisch behandeld eigenlijk. Ja, dat kan dan ook tot soms gevangenschappen of misschien andere zaken leiden.
In legal trouble, let's just say that. Okay, that was trying to make you laugh.
Yeah. I mean, it was
a little fun on behalf of the white hats. That's what's going on there.
And it is. It really makes. I mean, you can't look at it. And again, not being mean to anyone, but again, for me, Tom Cruise is so concerned with his look, and he's never changed. He has
never do that. You'd never be seen in that shape.
He'd never be seen. So that would be his ultimate nightmare, to have pictures like that circulating and people thinking it was him. So
they're trolling these guys. They're troll like this. You got to know. Give them a little fun. I mean, we've been literally trolled by this group, and way worse than that since the beginning of time. I think they can afford a little trolling on these guys.
Yeah, completely.
Right?
Yeah. Now, where is my one? Okay, so there is, now I'm sorry Americans, but I don't even know the difference between baseball and American football. I don't know which one it is, but apparently there is a famous sports person in America, let's say, called Kyle Irvin, and he has stood his ground and refused to get this, and therefore he's been dropped from the team, and he's really famous, and it's a really big deal. And
I
it's
think, isn't he a coach, and isn't he a football coach? I just read about that.
Het gaat blijkbaar nu over een voetbalcoach in de USA, dus het wel van American football. Zeker Carl Urban, denk ik, als ik het goed begrepen heb wat Catherine zegt. Dus is blijkbaar een belangrijke voetbalcoach, zeer gekend, die dus hem niet wil laten inenten. En nu had het daarover.
Now, I know just slightly more than you do about this. So I'm pretty sure he's a football coach, and he got kicked off the team. So he's got fired, basically.
Yeah. So again, can we ask the coach? I think what's going to happen to this, because I think we spoke last week saying a lot of the Premiership footballers in the UK are refusing to, and that's causing huge controversy because they're going to saying that they're not going to be able to go to the big.
Ja, in de UK blijkbaar zijn er ook heel wat heel befaamde gewone voetballers, dus soccer eigenlijk, die ook inentingen weigeren. En dat is iets ongelooflijk belangrijk natuurlijk in de UK op dit moment.
Competitions. So he stood up. Are other sports stars going to stand up? Is it going to make a difference, or is he going to be a lone warrior here?
There's the plumber working.
Yeah.
Okay, it is going to make a difference. It is going to make a difference, and slowly but surely that's going to wake up some young people and/or big followers.
Uiteraard, dus ze kijken in feite gaat dat een verschil maken. Ik ben daar natuurlijk 100% zeker van. Als zo'n belangrijke sportfiguren inentingen weigeren, zoals bijvoorbeeld in de gewone voetbal staat. Ik weet niet wat dat hier al in Vlaanderen zo is. We weten natuurlijk niet of dat wij achterlopen of dat wij, maar goed. Als zulke mensen in feite niet meer willen inenten of bepaalde stars en zo verder, ik kan gaan geloven hoeveel mensen dat er daar naartoe luisteren of dat volgen. Dus dat is ongelooflijk belangrijk natuurlijk.
Of sport. I mean, lots of people follow sport. So
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're trying to do too, by the way. They're encouraging these guys.
Brilliant.
Yeah, at least half, maybe even 60% are going to say no. So yeah, how are they going to, so that's going to they're not going to, they're going to have to drop their agenda at some point, it looks like. That's the whole idea, is to just make, like let everybody know, you know what? So even your heroes are going no. Oh, even your nurses and doctors. If people don't figure that one out, that's what more can you do?
Exactly, I know it is, and it is a sad state of the times, really, where people take more notice of a football star or a UK soccer star saying no, or there's been a couple of famous tennis players. They take more notice of the sports personalities, whether they're saying yes or no, than they do the doctors and nurses. So, but I suppose on the other side of the fence, there's so many doctors and nurses pushing it.
Yeah, that's true. But on the other hand, like they developed sports to brainwash people, and all of these things seem to be backfiring. I feel like all of their little agendas, I think they're
Janine legt nu uit, en ik heb het al van andere analisten ook gehoord, en ik kan er wel zelf ook bij komen, dat die topsport in feite gecreëerd is eigenlijk, dus met massa's, miljoenen en miljoenen dat ze winnen, verdienen tot tientallen miljoenen zelfs per jaar, dat eigenlijk gecreëerd is, en vooral kabal met die massa's geld erachter, dat mensen altijd zeggen, is dat toch mogelijk, waar komt dat geld vandaan, waar komt dat vandaan, dat is toch niet mogelijk met die beetje supporters. Dat is inderdaad niet mogelijk met die beetje supporters, dus er zit daar een heel andere kracht achter. En die krachten zijn natuurlijk de kabal die dat misbruikt hebben eigenlijk terug om mensen wereldwijd eigenlijk, brood en spelen die mensen. Het was al bij de Romeinen, de Grieken zo, altijd. De mensen eigenlijk zoet houden met brood en spelen. En dus zodanig dat ze niet meer echt denken aan waar dat ze echt zouden moeten aan denken.
Karma's up. The dark cult's karma's up. It is time for, they don't stand a chance. And I'm not saying they're not going to pull stuff. I'll just wait that one out. They're going to pull stuff. Hey, this is working hard. I gifted money on.
It's under there, working hard, Janine. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah. But that is really good, and we should really support people like this that are really standing up, because there's sacrifices at all levels of people having to take a stand and say no, and they deserve our praise as much as everyone does.
Absolutely.
So I saw the weirdest thing just before. Everything seems weird this week. Surprise, surprise. So someone sent me, I saw on Becca News, that an interview, a snippet of an interview where Mr. T, American Mr. T, did an interview on Fox News, I think, this week. And he was basically saying that he was a supporter of this, but he didn't support people being forced to take it. And he said that anyone who's got natural immunity certainly shouldn't have to take it. So
That's everybody.
Exactly. So there was a little bit of good news in terms of the fact they said that, but it was still odd because to the general public, it was still very slanted in favour. So could we ask the cards, you know, one, was that actually Mr. T giving that interview? Is that actually his message? Would be my first question.
So they're moving things in degrees. They're moving information in degrees. So the next thing that happens is it'll come out probably that everybody has natural immunity to it because we probably all had it.
Yes.
Just, you know, the year before, there was a lot of a weird flu going on, and a month before, my son and his friend who lived with him, so we lived with my son's friend, and the two of them both were down for the count, and those are athletes. Those guys are healthy and young, healthy, and they were down for only 4 days, but really with a weird, without taste, without smell, and that was before any of the lockdowns happened, just before the Christmas.
Dus nu zegt ze dat de zoon en de vriend van de zoon die bij haar woonde ook het ook had dat we in feite in 2001 2019 in feite al, was het nog niet zo gezegd het C-biowapen was. Maar inderdaad, dat klopt. Ik heb dat al veel gehoord van mensen die het C-biowapen hadden en ook mijn eigen vrouw. Dus geen smaak meer. Dus werkelijk weg. Voor een hele was ja, toch een lange tijd voor mijn vrouw dat het gewoon weg was.
Just before everything happened in the spring. Okay, so then I got something every morning. I'd feel it, like I'm kind of funny. I felt it in my body and I went, nope, I don't know what it is, but get out of here. Get out of here. It felt literally like I could tell it to get lost. And every day I'd start feeling a little weird. And if I went down the negative path with it and succumbed to it, it would take me over. And I was like, no way. And I fought it off for about 2 weeks. And I know I've been working with myself spiritually for years, so I'm not saying everybody should be able to do that. But if you try it, just try it, see what happens. You have to have a lot of self-confidence and know yourself and just be firm. Okay, just try it. Like I chase them out. When I'm feeling one coming on, I'm like, no, we're not doing this. I don't have time and I'm busy doing good work. So get out of here, right? It's almost like this demonic thing was after me. I'm telling you.
And it's so true, because we all know, I mean, there's so much that's come out from John O'Looney, the funeral director, from the patents that they found and everything, that we know, one, we know this was planned ages ago, two, we know it was released before any of us were told it released. And one of my friends, Mick, on Facebook, he's a truck driver, so I've been speaking and getting information from him about what's going on with the truck drivers. And as he made a really good point, it's like, you know, suddenly when everything went into lockdown, miraculously, every supermarket, every school, every hospital, every shop had all the signs already printed, all the same.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
The perspex things. Now
Ja, dat was inderdaad, ja goed, maar we weten ondertussen hoe dat allemaal komt, die mensen, maar het is goed dat dat nog een keer naar voren komt, dat ze zeggen, ja, allee, plots was het C-biowapen daar, plots was het de pandemie zo gezegd, plots was het was van alles, en plots had iedereen al de tekens, officiële tekens, dat iedereen, ja, wereldwijd had iedereen dezelfde tekens, dat was plots, had iedereen dat plotsklap, zomaar, boem. Mensen, een keer goed nadenken.
those things, they get ordered. Apparently, they've got very good evidence to show that they were ordered back in 2018.
Yeah.
Because of course they'd have to be ordered, they'd have to be made, they'd have to be sent to the distribution centres. Because all over the world, we all had these signs and perspex screens suddenly appeared as if out of nowhere.
It was fascinating. Everything was just like lickety split. It was like so weird. Yeah,
amazing. Weird. Either the fairies were being really helpful.
Alles voorbereid door de kabalmensen. Dat zijn echt demonen.
or they were planning this well in advance, one or the other.
Yeah, and who knows, like we should look into who invested in these papers, okay, because they're bazillionaires at this point, because people were wearing these things daily for a couple of years now, some of them.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of money.
An awful lot of money, yeah, and you can have your dirty money if anyone's invested in that.
Ja, ze zeggen zoals die papieren vuile blauwe doekjes dat de mensen rond hun mond deden. Dat ze zeggen, ja, die daarin geïnvesteerd hebben, uiteraard ook uit de kabal, die wist dat het er in aantocht was. Ja, die hebben natuurlijk miljarden en miljarden eraan verdiend. Miljarden mensen. Dus aan onze ongezondheid eigenlijk, aan onze, wat wij daardoor in feite binnengeademd hebben.
So my next question is, dear Hunter Biden. So there's a lot of news. We haven't spoken about him for ages, actually. He was so in the news to begin with. Yeah. Now, he's really in the news at the moment about his financial transactions and dodgy dealings, but there's nothing about the other stuff. So when the Hunter laptops were bought out, obviously there were all the horrific videos.
Ja, we hebben het weer over Hunter Biden, dat is de zoon van Sleepy Joe. Dus we weten ondertussen wat er daar allemaal rond die kerel daar allemaal gebeurd is. Allemaal zaken die al compleet publiek zijn. Angstaanjagende zaken. Maar dus nu zijn ze helemaal aan het praten over blijkbaar zijn financiën en niet over de echte erge dingen dat hij gedaan heeft.
Showing him doing other horrific things. And that complete radio silence on that, it's all just focused on the financial side of things. So can we ask the cards whether the other side of things are equally going to come out and also incriminate the rest of his family or his father as well?
Doesn't that show you where the mainstream media slowly went over to in the last few years?
Yeah.
Like somebody can do that, have that go on, and literally, apparently in some of those videos, people are being let off the earth plane in a horrific way.
Exactly.
Okay, so that guy's still even allowed to walk around? Well, apparently, because I don't think he is, by the way. You know what I mean? I think that's just really in our face. So it's all about money. Who cares about human, sacrifices, trafficking? Is that what we've become? Just 100% caring about, well, what did he do with this money though? No, I really don't care what he did with his money, frankly.
No, I don't.
I care how he treats people.
Exactly.
And what an example he is.
Yeah, his poor niece, horrific stuff coming out about her, came out about her. And it all just seems to be completely forgotten. And so everyone's just money, which says a lot about us as a race. So can we ask the cards whether that's going to come out soon?
Dus de vraag of dat er eigenlijk erge dingen een keer een serieus publiek in de MSM gaan komen rond die Hunter Biden.
He's been giving information for a long time on bad guys, so he's actually been quite...
In feite zegt het bij Janine dat hij eigenlijk al, dat pas al gezegd, dat hij eigenlijk al niet meer op vrije voeten is, dat hij eigenlijk serieus meehelpt nu met de wettekrachten eigenlijk om, van ze moeten, het is niet één mens dat ze moeten hebben, ze moeten eigenlijk heel het netwerk kunnen ontrafelen en ze moeten natuurlijk de wettekrachten dat echt wel doen op een serieuze, correcte manier, namelijk ze moeten dus inderdaad informatie, de bewijzen verzamelen, dus als dus inderdaad, zoals dat ze zeggen, speel de beans, dat dus met andere woorden, hij dus serieus alles blootgeeft. Dus daar is hij volop mee bezig en de rest is in feite in ons gezicht eigenlijk dat ze lachen met ons, de witte krachten eigenlijk, om ons echt wakker te maken. Nee, alleen wij niet natuurlijk, we zijn al helemaal wakker, maar de niet wakkeren uiteraard.
They've made deals with them because he's really tidied up a lot of loose ends with a lot of these guys. I think they haven't decided what they're doing with them, but he's probably going to, who knows what deal they're going to make. but they got a deal going on. They're dealing, people don't like that sometimes, but that probably is happening where they're making deals. I mean, I hope he doesn't, but I'd rather the spotlight go on to his dad.
Yes.
Because forget this guy was, but he's probably been telling.
Ja, volgens dat er gekend is, zou eigenlijk Hunter Biden vanaf klein manneken eigenlijk ook compleet misbruikt zijn door zijn vader en door het netwerk rond zijn vader, die satanische demonen zijn in feite. Dus eigenlijk, dus, ook daar dat ze over praten te zeggen, ja, in feite is hij eigenlijk zelf ook een compleet misbruikte mens op allerlei niveaus. En ja, niet dat je dat moet goed praten natuurlijk, maar misschien moeten we daar misschien wat menselijkheid doen en hem op een andere manier gerechtigheid laten hebben.
Tales about the whole family, hopefully. Looks like he has. So they're still trying to figure out what to do. And remember, a long time ago, I looked into children of these families who got brought in from a child, like I know he did when I did a reading on him. That guy doesn't even he's not even, his humanness was beat, and you know what, with the R word out of him from a little boy. Okay, he never stood a chance. Neither did a whole bunch of other people. And it's unfortunate that he's also got involved later, but his other option would have been to risk his life getting out of there. And we know how rare that is. And with what's recently happened with Jesse, we know how dangerous that is on all fronts. So for you and your whole family. So it's okay, that's a pretty tough call. So, and then his way of dealing with his unbelievable issues from childhood was drugs and alcohol. Obviously, it's pretty common, right? Pretty common. And then turning around and abusing others. But I'm blaming his dad and that woman he married, and all the stuff they did to the other. It was the children. I don't think those are actually their kids, but the kids get placed with these families. It's also weird. But anyway, so I wouldn't complain if he, gave enough information that they took him to that healing place I was getting. Yeah. Where they help these ones that were brought into it from birth heal, right? Or give them at least a chance to not be processed the same way their parents were. And I couldn't say what would be the right thing, but I'm not in that position, thank goodness.
I'm so pleased I'm not in that position. I mean, it's just a horrific thing because the cycle of abuse just keeps on and on and on. It's just horrific, isn't it? So, yeah. Wow. Okay, great. My next question is about John Durham.
John Durham,
and is he...
John Durham, voor de mensen die hem niet kennen, dat is eigenlijk een special prosecutor, zou je kunnen zeggen. Een speciale procureur, zouden we bijna kunnen zijn hier bij ons. Die over de 50 staten van Amerika dus volledig onafhankelijk mensen kan eigenlijk voor de rechtbank brengen, eigenlijk, kan beschuldigen eigenlijk. Ja. Indictments, wat ze dat noemen daar.
Absolutely. Is he a linchpin in terms of what's going to be revealed?
He's definitely on the good guy's side. There's a big fight going on around what he's got and what he's got to bring out. I wonder if they're holding something over his head and or the bad guys and or making threats, or that he's had to go into hiding and or has probably been in hiding for really long. This feels like it.
Ja, ik denk dat John Durham ook wel goed beschermd moet worden, maar blijkbaar zou er een groot gevecht bezig zijn dat ze zegt, maar dat ze hem proberen misschien van kant te maken, of dat ze misschien hem proberen te chanteren of noem maar op. Ja, dat is het spelletje van de kabal, dat is altijd hetzelfde.
It's really tough around him, and it's going to be tough. There's something holding up. He has so much intel on people and or information or names to name or whatever. And he will do it, but they're meeting a lot of, this is where the fight is right now. It's like, right, the war is waging there for sure. That's one of the battlegrounds. So yeah, he's definitely on the good guy's side. And I don't know about linchpin. The cards didn't look like he was the end all to be all. I think they got all kinds of stuff. I don't think it's all resting on him, but it definitely looks like he's bringing.
Nee, dus de informatie en de beschuldigingen en al de zaken en de berechtingen en het juridische en militaire, het zal van alle kanten komen, mensen. Het is van alle kanten gaan ze aangevallen worden, de kabal.
In a whole bunch as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, perhaps we can send him some ravens.
Yeah.
He might need it. So, okay, we've got, just going back to the United Nations, in Glasgow in Scotland, 31st of October, so obviously a bit of an important date, to the
United Nations komen blijkbaar terug samen in een grote meeting 31 oktober in Glasgow, Schotland. En ze had dan nu vragen over stellen of dat inderdaad nog altijd echt gaat gebeuren of CGI zal zijn en zo verder.
12th of November is going to be the next United Nations Climate Change Conference. And there's been a lot of stuff in our press about how all the senior members of the royal family are going to be attending, which is odd anyway. And secondly, criticism because the Chinese president, Xi Jinping, hasn't committed as to whether they're going to attend or not. So, I mean, we got at the start that the UN has been taken over, but why the significance of making such a big deal that all the senior members of the royal family, British royal family, are going to be there?
So secretly, those aren't going to be the members.
Dus dat bij Janine ziet dat heel dat United Nations gedoe, dat ze zo gezegd doen, dat dat eigenlijk terug een opgezet spel is, waar zelfs de royals niet gaan zijn, want er wordt door heel veel gezegd dat de meeste royals eigenlijk al niet meer op deze aardbol rondlopen.
Say, that was in the middle. Strategy. It's a strategy. There's a strategic reason why they're bringing them all together there. Page of Wands. Also, there's a big signal to it. There's a big signal. Oh, by the way, Charles is definitely not going to be there either. He's off the Earth plane. He's met his, their big secret around the Queen. So they got a secret plan with the Queen. I wonder if this is when they might do some of that. Like I got a long time ago, they were going to have to, get these guys out of there. I wonder if they're going to do that with her and Charles and maybe one other. Like I always thought there could be three that go at once in some kind of a weird accident or something. But, so they got a secret plan around at least the Queen and Charles for sure that I can see here.
That's really funny because when I read that, my first thought is something's going to happen then. That's going to be their excuse for them, for the mass public being told. So we will wait and see. But yeah, very, very interesting. So my final question probably is, I know you've done masses over the last week about the airline situation.
Ja.
But I saw
Zeer belangrijk, wat gebeurt er met heel die vliegtuigmaatschappijen zoals Delta, zoals Southwest, de hele grote in Amerika, waar het personeel dus alles stillegt, de piloten weigeren de inentingen en zo verder. Dus ja, heel belangrijk.
A lot of posts going around today where they were publicising the lawsuit. And they're saying that the Southwest Airline Pilots Association have officially submitted a lawsuit against the mandate. And of course, that's been fact-checked everywhere. So can we first of all ask the cards whether they have submitted a lawsuit based on that?
De piloten van die hele grote vliegtuigmaatschappij Southwest in de USA hebben dus blijkbaar een rechtszaak aangespannen tegen de overheid in verband met de inentingen.
Okay, this is really weird. a lot of the stories around the airlines are part of the movie and made up. I'm just reading the card. This is very interesting. So there's some kind of battlefront there. It's like they were trying to really make everybody look like they're trying to out the agendas. So they're trying to out the agendas. So I don't get a lot of that's based in actual fact, everything we're seeing. I think there's something in the background that's creating it to look like. A lot of pilots are dropping out of the...
Dat bij Janine ziet eigenlijk heel veel van haar lezingen in feite, dat er eigenlijk, dat de witte krachten, de goede krachten eigenlijk, ook natuurlijk propaganda en disinformation doen, disinformatie, om eigenlijk duidelijk te maken wat die eigenlijk die nefarische, die satanische agenda eigenlijk van de kabal echt was. En ze doen dat nu gigantisch snel, brengen ze dat uit, zodat wij dus staan te bibberen en te beven, en dat we dus zo snel mogelijk die afgrond zouden zien, en dus dat we allemaal globaal zouden wakker worden.
Some of that could be manufactured. Some of this could be manufactured from the good guys to get out the bad guys for what could have happened if those things were as lethal as we know some of them are and they could be. Okay, don't forget, we got a 5D chess, and there's a whole bunch of monkey business going on both sides here. To out the plan. They want to out the plan to the normies, okay? They're not trying to out the plan to you guys who are watching, because we already know. Okay, but if you're talking about somebody like people I know who have no clue, they ask questions like, well, why would the government want to do that? Like,
yes, exactly.
Like, really? You're kidding me. Yeah. Why would the Pope be a bad person? That doesn't make any sense. Really? Have you ever read a history book about popes and how they got to be popes? Like, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. People actually ask questions like that and they mean it. They have no clue. They just watch CNN. They watch, regular news, like, or your news is that's the equivalent, right? Yeah. So it's like, they're trying to out this. So some of this is fabricated. And I got to be honest, every time I read it, I'm like, yeah. Okay, so they're waging this war on the news about, so they're making these guys look really bad. Those guys are making these guys look, everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
We gaan het hierbij laten, mensen. Ik ga terug mijn scherm stoppen. Stop share. Voilà. Voilà, mensen. Bedankt om te luisteren. Het waren een aantal interessante vragen, een aantal meer ludieke vragen. Maar het is ook een keer prettig dat we een keer kunnen lachen en een keer kunnen bepaalde zaken gaan bekijken die misschien niet direct ongelooflijk veel interesse hebben op dit moment. Maar goed. Het is ook een keer prettig om dat te horen. Dus dank u wel, mensen. Vergeet niet te liken, het duimpje, veel abonneren. Je weet ondertussen waarom, de mensen die me volgen. Ik wens zo snel mogelijk in live te kunnen gaan met jullie, vraag en antwoord. Dan ga ik echt geen analisten meer volgen, maar puur mijn persoonlijke opinie. Ik volg toch ook elke dag 3 tot 7 uur per dag eigenlijk dat ik analyse doe sinds maart 2020. Ik doe nogthans graag met die analisten, omdat je ten eerste, je hoort dan iedere keer een buitenstaander. Ik geef mijn eigen opinies daarop. Ik vind dat wel een mooi spel dat ik graag speel in feite. Maar ik kan uiteraard ook wel zelf gewoon puur mijn eigen opinies ook constant geven en verdedigen. Voilà, mensen, dank u wel. Ah ja, niet vergeten, veel delen, mensen, veel abonneren. En het notificatiebelletje en de likes. Dank u wel, beste vrienden en vriendinnen. En tot binnenkort voor een volgende filmpje. Of misschien komen we elkaar wel fysisch tegen. Zoals vrijdag op de Open Up in Nieuwpoort. Fantastisch. Salut!